Another win on the road, guys, and finally, a player who has really been knocking on the door lately has his goal. After a run of strong performances, he finally got what he deserved, and it felt like it was coming sooner or later. Now, the game itself was not pretty at all, especially in the second half. And when you really think about it, that becomes even more frustrating considering we were up against a team that is seriously pushing to be one of the worst sides in the Premier League. Wolves are still sitting on just 2 points after 18 league games, which says a lot. That said, credit where it is due, because we actually saw a pretty interesting approach from Slot, as he tried to break down what we all expected to be a very deep Wolves setup. So if you want to understand how Slot's plan worked, but also where it fell short and showed its limits, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. With that out of the way, let us jump straight into the video. Like we always do, let us start with the lineup Slot decided to go with for this one. Alisson kept his place between the posts, with Milos Kerkez, Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, and Jeremy Frimpong making up the back line. In midfield, Ryan Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, and Alexis McAllister were trusted to control the game. And with Dominik Szoboszlai suspended for the match, we finally saw Federico Chiesa get his first start on the right wing. Florian Wirtz operated from the left side, while Hugo led the line through the middle. So, like we mentioned earlier, guys, Florian Wirtz played as a left winger in this game. And honestly, finally, right? Now, of course, he still drifted inside and moved around like he always does, but for the most part, he stayed on the left, and that is what allowed Slot's plan to actually work. Or at least, one half of it. The other half depended on Chiesa and Frimpong, but before we get to that, let us break down what this plan really was. Here you can see the first part of the idea, and it was mainly focused on our left side dynamics. On that side, Kerkez, Wirtz and Jones were constantly making different movements and runs, rotating positions, losing their markers and arriving into space. Because of that, we were able to create situations where quick passes and combination play became possible. This was also helped by players like Gravenberch or McAllister stepping in to support, with Van Dijk often staying close to help us recycle and keep the ball. On paper, this looks like a very solid approach, and in reality, it can be very effective, especially with the quality of players we have. However, there was one clear issue. Here you can see the same idea again, with Kerkez, Wirtz, and this time Gravenberch trying to create combination play on the left side. In this situation though, there were two main problems. First of all, look at how far Ekitike was from the link-up area. He had no real intention of joining the play because his role was to occupy the centre-backs and attack the box. Even when he did not make a run into the box, he simply dropped a bit deeper but still stayed very central. That then led to the second problem, because look at where Kerkez ends up receiving the ball. Most of the time he found himself in areas that would have been far more dangerous if Hugo was the one getting on the ball there. Instead, in this moment, it is Kerkez who receives in the left half space with his back to goal. As a result, what could have been a great chance to break down Wolves' low block ends up with the ball going backwards, and we are forced to reset the attack once again. Now, we are not blaming Kerkez here at all. This is simply not his game, and he kept finding himself in situations he is not really familiar with. For this approach to truly work, what needed to happen was getting Wirtz, Jones and Hugo much closer to each other. These are three very smart players with unbelievable technical quality, and having them operate in tight spaces together would have made our quick combinations far more dangerous. And if you want proof of that, we have got you. Here you can see that exact trio finally coming together for the first time in this game, which unfortunately took 64 minutes to happen. And straight away the result is a dangerous shot from Jones. So let us break down how these three combined to create that moment. First, you can see Hugo make a double movement to get away from his marker and open himself up to receive the ball. At the same time, Jones makes a forward run from a deeper position to attack the space. As for Wirtz, he does really well to disguise the pass to Hugo, playing it with his left foot while still on the move. Finally, Hugo manages to flick the ball back perfectly into Jones's path, who arrives into space and gets the shot away. That is how you unlock tight defenses, guys. When players who can make quick decisions and execute their actions accurately are placed close to each other, that is when the magic starts to happen. And you can actually see this reflected in the passing map here. Most of the time it was Kerkez who ended up forming that trio, and as we explained earlier, that had a negative impact on our combination play. Now, if we shift our attention to the opposite side of the pitch, we can start to see the second half of Slot's plan. On the right side, it was Chiesa who held the width as the right winger, and alongside him, Frimpong kept making over and underlapping runs from deep. This side of the pitch was the complete opposite of the left. While we looked to keep the ball and combine with quick passes on the left, the right side was all about being direct. And that made perfect sense with two fast and direct players like Chiesa and Frimpong. Sure, Chiesa is not as explosive as he once was, but he is still a winger who loves to attack space. And when it comes to Frimpong, there is really no need to explain what he brings, so instead, we will just show you. The move for our first goal started with this switch from Van Dijk out to Chiesa, who then laid the ball off to Frimpong. Like we said, these two want to be direct, and Frimpong showed exactly that. Out of nowhere, he burst forward, drove into the box, and picked out Gravenberch with a perfectly timed cut back. That goal summed up how direct our right side was throughout the game. Both Chiesa and Frimpong kept trying to run in behind, but unfortunately the long balls did not always find them. Thankfully, this powerful carry from the Dutchman made the difference and gave us the opener. We started this video talking about a player who finally got the goal he deserved. And that was Wirtz, who added the second just seconds after we opened the scoring. But we're going to leave that goal and a lot more about Wirtz and his performances for another day. So make sure to hit that bell button because you definitely do not want to miss our upcoming video about him. Now, this was not an excellent performance, far from it. We were in total control in the first half, but in the second, and especially after Wolves got one goal back, we struggled to fully control the game properly. The way we conceded is also another area for concern because it was another set-piece goal. So far, we conceded 12 and scored just 3 from set plays, meaning we have the worst rate in the PL at the moment. Now, there were clear ideas from Slot, some of them worked well, and others showed their limits, but that is all part of the process. What matters most is that we keep building, learning, and improving as the season goes on. There were some really positive signs in this game, especially when the right players were put in the right areas. We saw how dangerous we can be when our most technical players operate close to each other, and we also saw how effective we can be when we choose to be more direct. At the same time, this match also showed us where adjustments still need to be made, especially against teams that sit deep and try to frustrate us. But for now, it is another 3 points on the board and another step in the right direction, and with more games coming thick and fast, these are the kinds of wins that can really make a difference by the end of the season. So what did you guys make of Slot's approach in this game? And who stood out to you the most on the pitch? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more content like this, and as always, we will see you in the next one.